All right, so now let's look at some of the stocks. Just so you know, I have two positions right now on two stocks that we talked about on Tuesday. The first one is OVID. So OVID, if you remember, when we looked at it on Tuesday, the market had gapped up, and I said that you know I liked obviously the overall move, but I didn't want to chase it. And my idea was basically to be looking at any type of pullback um, to you know to a moving average, 10, or some kind of pullback on the 60-minute bar chart. And I got alerted basically, that was yesterday, when the market um, crapped down really. And that's on Tuesday when we talked about it. So that was the gap up. Then it didn't do anything. That was the gap up, and see, that was a very large, wide opening range. The first 15 minutes candle was quite wide. We never managed to basically go up. The market basically just went back down, then managed to pierce through all the moving average, 10, 20 on the 60 minutes bar chart. But it found some decent support here. And this was corresponding to the first area of support on moving average 10 daily and moving average 50 on the 60-minute bar chart, as you can see. And also there was this area, this area of price support between $5 and $5.25. So I got alerted there. And what I did is basically I went to my 15 minutes chart, and I found obviously, same price support that we're talking about, a nice price support of between 5 and 5.25. I had the nice convergence and support as well from moving average 215 minutes. And I was looking for an entry. So my entry, I went one unit even lower than that to basically to check where it would be a good point. And I got this entry here. Just when we started basically trading, engulfing the previous candles on the 5 minutes here, see? And I think I got in like around like 520, 523, 525, something like that. So the stop loss on the 5 minutes, on my entry was quite low. It was like a 30 cents stop loss. You see, that's what we had like on the ATR one. That was like about 10 average moving. Sorry, an average of ATR one of 10 cents. So two ATR was about 20 cents. I took slightly larger stop loss. I took a 30 cents just below here. So I came in around 5.25. I had like a stop loss that was just below $5. I took a first partial profit here on this candle on the 15 minutes. Probably it was like around 5.55, 30 cents basically profits. And right now, I have my stop at break even. So the market right now is opening. I mean, it's like in pre-market about 4.5% up. So I'm following that one. My stop is at break even at so at 5.25. So that's a stock that I'm following up right now. Other thing that I have a position in. Well, I had a position in Mark after we talked as well. Remember, like this stock that we talked about, MRK. That was on Tuesday. here when we had a huge gap up on this thing. And I said, I'm not definitely not going to chase it up. Also, we had like some levels just above our area of resistance around 323, and the next one was 4.5. But what happened is that on the same day, I think that we talked. What was that? The same day or the next day? I forgot now. Let me just check. That was Tuesday, right? So on the same day that we talked, that's the 15 minutes here chart. That's the 1 hour chart. So the market basically went back down and kind of like found like some decent support on moving average 10, 15 minutes, started basically curving back up. And at this stage, I thought, let's take a quick shot at it, because like obviously we'd seen like a lot of volume, a lot of like people talking and trading about it. There were a lot of shorts in this market also looking for covering. So I took a quick shot on it, and I went up. I went basically on the break of the opening price range. I think that's what we had talked about on Tuesday, that we were looking for a break, either a break of the levels that we had here, or an opening price range break. So I came in here just above like 291, which was the opening price range. Came in like maybe 295. I had a stop that was really below here, like a short stop of about 25 cents, and I got out here on this. I got out basically the next day on the opening, so I kept the position overnight. It was small position, and on the yesterday, basically the market opened with a gap up. First thing I got executed on the open, so around 335, and I left the rest of the position until the end of the day. But I took off at the end of the day because today is earnings day. I don't think that let me just check the news. I don't think that they've announced the news yet of the earnings, but this is earnings day today, so we're gonna have the earnings report on this company. I don't like to trade on earnings report. I don't like to basically have a position really on earnings report. So by the way, when you use TC2000, you'll see the way that I've set up my screen here. I always have next earnings. So when you trade a stock or when you look at a stock, always basically look at this box, try to basically highlight it and see that right now, that's 28th of May. Today is the earnings day. So you have to be careful. Personally, I don't like to trade because it's a bit of a casino. It's a bit of a gamble. You don't know. They might come up with a super news, and then you're long and you're thankful that you are on the right side of the trade. But sometimes they come with a very bad earnings report or really under the expectations of the market, and then you're stuck with a position that's going to gap down and you can't do anything. So that's why I don't really like to do that. I prefer to basically wait for the earnings report to come out and then to look at what the market wants to do, see what was priced in, what was not. That's the sort of play I'd rather have. So, I almost basically got out everything around 3,035 on this one. I got, I was in around 295. So, that was like a 40 cents profit overall for about 25 cents stop loss. The trade was okay. Again, not a big position, especially when when you see what the market did overall. The market had a huge advance since the beginning of the month. See right now in pre-market, the market is down already 4%. The volume is, let's see if we get the volume. It's typical volume pre-market, nothing huge, but undecisive. And another stock that I'm positioned in right now is this one that we talked about as well. So On Tuesday, we looked at this stock, SE. Sorry, hold on a second. Has been like a really outstanding performing stock since the beginning of mid March, and I said it really looks good. It's the sort of great momentum stock that I'd like to do, but again, I'm not going to chase it. So I'll keep it on my radar, and I will look for a better entry on a pullback if we can get it. And same, we got a pullback, like you can see on the daily chart. We almost basically went back to moving average 10, and we look at the 60 minutes and the 15 minutes. We look at the 60 minutes. We had this pullback on the moving average 50. Also corresponding to this area that we had a nice area of convergence of horizontal price here. You see it. Mm-hmm. So this was basically when I got alerted of by the scans, and I thought, okay, let's take a shot at it because I like the stock, I like the move, I like the momentum generally. We had a good flush on that day, so I went and looked into an entry on the 15 minutes, and what I got was this. Okay, so that's the 15 minutes. See this big candle. When we do like a quite big candles, we hit all this area of support, price supports. We hit the moving average 200, which is always, no matter what the unit of time that you're looking at, the moving average 200 is always a big support or resistance, depending on what side of the market we are. So, and when we get these sort of candles here, we get a wide candles that finishes up, towards the high of it, then that's always a good sign. So what I did is basically I took the engulfing patterns that we see here, and I took it basically right above $76. So I think like 76 and 5 cents. Got long on that. Stop I placed right below this level, below 74. So it was a $2 stop, roughly. And my idea was to look at this area where we would basically start hitting these moving average 20, confluence of moving average 20 in the VWAP. Like I said to you many times, the VWAP is kind of like an anchor for all of institutional and brokers, the way that they execute. So that was my first level. So, $2 stop for $76 entry, 78 first target. That's what, I got executed on that. And right now, I put my stop at break even. So I got my stock around $76. Right now, the market at some stage, this in pre-market was trading $80. Now it's trading around 78. We'll see what happens. There's not a lot of volume in pre-market, but generally speaking, I like the overall move of it, and I think that we could definitely see a retest of the high. So I would say that my next target is going to be the high of the market that we've seen around $84. That's where I've got my next profit target.